Hi everyone, just wanted to go over our information from week 5 for our summary for the week. Thanks so much to everyone for attending our synchronous session last night. Hopefully it was helpful in preparation for completing your case study this week. I thought that hopefully I was able to go over a good amount of detail for that, and hopefully that will help you in preparing that. As I'd mentioned last night, that can be a really difficult task to complete, and I think that hopefully that will have helped you to complete that case study. So I want to go over a few of our topics from last week. Last week we talked about directional statements, so mission, vision, values, and I think that in our discussions we had talked a lot about, who is the keeper of the vision, and you think about, obviously it's going to be leadership, because, and we've mentioned this, the notion of tone from the top. I think we've talked a little bit about that, just for strategic planning in general. I think in our first week we talked about how, who needs to be in charge of strategic planning. Does that need to be the CEO? And I don't think it necessarily has to be the CEO. Oftentimes the keeper of the vision is going to be, that high level, that highest level of leadership in an organization. But that doesn't mean that's the only person that's involved. I think everyone needs to be involved in reflecting the vision of an organization, but there really does need to be that tone from the top set. So your highest level leadership needs to reflect that vision, and that striving for our goals. Remember that our vision is not necessarily our current state, but our future state. So what are we striving for? What do we want to be? As opposed to our mission, which is, what are our reflection of our current self, what makes us unique as an organization. So, our leadership is really needs to be the keeper of that vision. What are we striving for? And it should be our senior leadership team that is keeping that. They are visionary leaders. They are transformational leaders. That's really pushing that forward. But one of the terms that I had used in our discussion boards this week is disruptive. So there's a lot of discussion in leadership, healthcare leadership today, about disruptive leadership, because there is. In some organizations, there is a lot of status quo, and there is not room for that in this industry anymore. There needs to be change in order to progress. So there isn't really room for the status quo, and disruptive leadership, change agents, are really what we need in order to push that vision, make that change in an organization. So disruptive leadership is really, and transformational leadership is really what we need in that visionary, in that person that's the keeper of the vision. So I just wanted to add a little bit more about that, because that's not to use a buzzword of disruptive leadership, but that's really not disruptive in a negative sense, because it's really a positive, because you really need to push the envelope in order to make change and be a change agent today. We also, actually, it was a very busy week last week. You had your draft, as you know. So you had your draft for your strategic plan. I'm really looking forward to digging into those this week. But you also had the opportunity to take a vision statement and make some changes to it. So you got to be that visionary. You got to be that disruptor, the change agent, to kind of take a vision statement, maybe from where you work, or maybe just from a local organization, maybe where you receive care, and decide what changes needed to be made. So perhaps maybe you feel that the organization is not progressing in the fashion that it needs to, and there are some different changes that really need to be made. So that's where you can really see how vision needs to move forward. And I think I mentioned, we ourselves here at RMU are kind of going through that process. Granted, we're higher education and not healthcare, but our higher level university process went through, which involved all sorts of staff throughout the organization, faculty and staff. And now here at the level of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences, we're developing our own mission, vision, and values to reflect or mirror that university level. So it's important to be able to have input on that vision statement, which is what you guys did, and interesting to have a hand in that process. Okay, so let's take a look at the quiz questions. Good work on the quiz this week, as usual, but there were a few questions that I wanted to go over. So the first question, one of the outcomes of directional strategies is to reach consensus and document what the organization currently does. So this was true-false question, obviously. The answer was true, and this is obviously especially when we're talking about mission, we need to know what we're currently doing in order to adequately document our mission, to understand our mission, and to understand how we are working maybe toward our vision if we're considering making changes as we're looking at strategy. So it's important for us to document what the organization is currently doing and to reach consensus on that. You can't have just perhaps, so we talked about disruptive leadership, we can't have one leader that says, well, I feel these are all the changes that need to be made, and have nobody else on board. If you don't have buy-in or consensus across your organization, it's not going to be effective change. So having that consensus and then documenting what the organization is currently doing, really, really important to all of these processes. Second question. The following are characteristics of a mission statement except, and there were 5 separate answers, A, B, C, D, E, and the one that was the except, the one that was not accurate, was C, concerned with the organization's future. So mission statements are focused on the here and now, the current. They're not, the vision, as we talked about already, is focused on the future. So we're not so much focused on what's going on in the future with our mission statement. We're talking about the here and now and what makes us unique in our mission statement. So, and perhaps what our focus is. For example, a faith-based organization in their mission statement may talk about care for the poor, care for the underserved, etc. So it's really really important that your mission statement really reflects your focus as an organization. Okay, next question. Directional strategies give an organization its identity. It represents who we are, where we are going, and how we work. So this is true or false as well. And the answer here is true. Obviously, directional strategies really focus on all of those different things. Who the organization is, where you're going, and then how we work. So who we are, that's our mission. Where we're going, that's our vision. And then our values are how we work every day. So those are our 3 different directional strategies. It's overall, those are what are giving your organization its identity. That's how, if I'm a patient and potential patient and I go out to organization's website, I can click on that About Us maybe, and I can scroll down through and look at the organization's mission. And if I'm touched by the organization's mission, I may be more apt to go there. Or maybe I don't, maybe I'm not. Maybe I am diametrically opposed to that organization's mission. So maybe I won't go there. So it's important to be able to look at an organization's mission and understand what type of an organization it is. And so that's why those directional strategies really give that organization its identity. The directional strategies are really important also, not just for patients, but for staff. So as a staff member, and this is especially important as you're going out to look at new jobs, new potential career situations, you should always be looking at the mission, vision, and values of potential employers. Look at those, see if you fit into that particular workplace. If it's not a fit for you from a mission standpoint or a vision standpoint, I would not advise necessarily pursuing that employment situation. It's really important that you fit into not just, oh, well, it seems like that person would be a really great supervisor, or that I really enjoyed speaking with the CEO, but you need to fit within the culture of that organization, and a lot of times the mission, vision, and values will tell you a little bit about the culture. Okay, last question was fill in the blanks. Values are the blank organizations and people stand for, the fundamental principles along with blank that make an organization unique. So the answer was ideals and mission. So I'll read the whole sentence again. Values are the ideals organizations and people stand for, the fundamental principles that, along with mission, make an organization unique. So really what this is just talking about how values and mission, values are obviously those ideals or those principles that organizations stand for, and they work along with the mission statement to make your organization unique in some way. And then obviously our vision is that future state. So our mission and our ideals tend to be kind of our future, our current state, and then that vision is our future state. So those are our quiz questions for this week. As always, if you have any questions on any of the other quiz questions, please just let me know. Looking forward this week to some additional work on the strategic options, different types of choices for developing strategies. Moving forward after, obviously we've done our analyses, we've done our directional strategies, and now, okay, we need to start kind of looking at how do we proceed with our strategy. So that's how we're proceeding this week, and digging into that case study, which obviously we talked about last night. So any questions, please let me know, and I'll look forward to seeing everybody in the discussion boards. Thanks so much.